Hi, friends. This is Sandy,
Hi, and this is Trina.
and we are welcoming you from Manteca, California. On today's segment, we are going to continue our discussion with Trina. This is part two. And where we left off on last segment, if you haven't had a chance to see it, I encourage you that you do. It's really good. But this is part two. And the question is, how did you find your lifeline after your mother passed? So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I will say this though. What I can tell you more than anything is um, that there still is, kind of this struggle of a lifeline because what I also lost in that is trust. And what I mean by trust is trusting people with how I feel. And I often say, I reject labels, but I'll just tell you an experience like that when you do lose your lifeline, you might also gain a lot of uh, labels,
Mm,
right? Um, whether you're distant, whether you're hurt, you might even get a label of being angry. Um, I have been called so many things. I'll just leave it like that. I've been called so many things. So what's lost is trust, right? Like how then do I become um, organic with people
mm,
after having lost this lifeline who held all of that and and then took it with her. And so what she knew my secrets, she knew my pain, but she also knew my happy. She knew when I can get to 10 on happy, and if nothing else, I could bring her to 8 with me. She just always was happy for her kids, her kids' accomplishments. That was her lifeline too. And so, without having kind of the trust in some relationships, and I can go even further and say most relationships where I just kind of found myself just not even having any trust. And what I mean by trust is just trust them with my pain. In that, no, it's not over, and everything was matter of fact. It was, this is done already. We're having this. And I'm gonna be honest and transparent. I didn't even host Thanksgiving. And one of the things I said I would do, it was other people making decisions. I couldn't even in my mind fight for what I thought to fight for because I'm having this out of body experience. I don't even know that I need to fight. But I will say, one day I'm driving down the street and I can play that hospital room moment by moment, and then I can feel its meaning.
mm,
And the meaning was everybody else in this room, they know how to take care of themselves, and you don't.
mm. Wow.
You know how to take care of everybody in this room, but you don't know how to take care of you. And it was so real for me to say that was the messaging in her. I'm holding her hand and she got tubes and she's asking me these questions. And I just played that out of, you don't know how to take care of you. You're busy. Life work is planning, making this happen, sharing, doing things for other people. And what she knew is that I would break ties if I began to take care of me. And I would break ties because the veil would come off of other people of how well they take care of themselves. Nothing to do with me so much. It's the me seeing me, not taking care of me, and not ever really focusing on me. and I wasn't good at it. I'm learning though. I'm learning, and I'm going through this whole path of recovery through learning how to be very honest and not necessarily gentle with it. And right now, my pastor does have me on a study of making my words match my actions. Uh, what I hope that people will say when I die is that she was honest. And maybe she didn't say it in the way that they wanted her to say it. And that's what my mom held for me. Say it however you need to say it. Just say it. And so absent that, who am I now? What am I doing now? And I think I'm fulfilling my purpose. And I was able to fulfill my purpose by saying, all right, now address some of these things that you know you're good at, or you want to be good at, or you want to do. And one was to just really let me get certified as a grief coach. And my background is, I'll be honest, I have a PhD. I have a PhD in counseling psychology. I have wrote a book on grief, but counseling wasn't getting me where I needed to go. What I saw what might help me better is to, how do I just walk on side upside with someone and help them really examine their grief and walk through grief to get to another side of what Dora, which is the owner of the grief coach school that we went to, what she would say is to go from grief to gratitude, to have and help somebody look at
Mm-hmm.
what you do have still left after you lose a lifeline, what you have left. And so that really has helped me to really not just um, become certified in grief coach, but to work through my own shortcomings, my own disconnects, and then my own need to make sure I understand that even though you might not trust people with your feelings, your hard feelings, you still have to be in relation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do you do that? And for me, I'm liking this part of me that's honest, and so I might need to be honest, gentler, but I'm gonna say what needs to be said, and that just for me is an avenue to heal, because I do know how to take care of people, their situations, and I have put myself on the back burner with some things, especially when it's dealing with your emotions, because people didn't get to see that gentle side of me, or that grieving side of me, or the hurt side of me where you just want to cry. And so, you know, I'm going to say this, as a woman, we are taught to be strong, those labels, right? And so I've spent some months peeling off the labels. I don't need to be strong. I don't need to be tough. I just don't need to be any of those things. I don't even need to be what some have called a control freak. When you're in this world alone, though, you better have a plan to control some things in your life. And so, for those of you out there that might be experiencing different labels, um, do an exercise, I would say. And the exercise was peeling back the labels, right? Some I just put on the table, right? Being strong, I'll leave that there, and I'll pick it up in those need situations, right? I need to be strong for Sandy or for someone else. Maybe I can put that label back on, but I consider them more coats now than life. Uh, Circumstances. That's not who I am. That's a tool I can use in order to get past the circumstance or situation. So I'll put on the strong. I'll put on the control freak. I'll put on the sad. I'll even put on the angry if I need to. And what I do better is to measure the circumstance so that I can utilize the labels that. And it's not just family, and it's not just friends. It's society puts these labels on us. So work, home, wherever it is, I'll use those labels, but I did an exercise of peeling off the labels and sat with me in the raw, and ended up in a grief coaching class in the raw that helped me work through some things and
Mm-hmm.
see through some things and
Yes.
see some opportunities to utilize the labels, but not be just that. That's not just who I am. I am a lot of things at once. And so more appreciative for who I am in this light. I am in recovery from the loss of a lifeline, um, but I have some gratitude for what she taught me, and then I have some real gratitude for what she taught me in that room. That I it took me a year to catch what the messaging was, and so take care of yourselves. I think we said it in our last segment. Just make sure you take care of yourself first. Put your mask on and keep moving. That's kind of what I would say. I
Wow, that was powerful, Trina, and that was very transparent. And I think you gave us a lot of tools and lessons, as well as reminders of you can reemerge.
mm-hmm,
You can come out of this on the other side, um, stronger,
mm-hmm,
wiser, smarter. You might even discover parts of yourself that you didn't know, as Trina mentioned, that you had inside you.
mm-hmm,
Because you're so close to this person, you find yourself leaning on them. But then once that's removed, you find yourself, there's a part of you you got to know, it sounds
mm-hmm,
like,
mm-hmm.
through this
Absolutely.
through this journey, you become more familiar of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I think that's amazing, and I think that's encouraging to all of us. And
Yeah.
Trina gave us so many examples of what that kind of unfolded and looks like and looked like. She's still, we are all still processing, and we're still evolving and growing
Mm-hmm,
every day.
mm-hmm.
But you gave us a lot to think about and to reflect on our own situations, and a lot of encouragement. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah. Well, you're welcome. Actually feel good having this space to be able to process it too.
And that's exactly what this channel is about. That's exactly what Miss Dora Carpenter is asking us to do, is to share the experience. Let you know there is a community out there that
Mm-hmm,
wants to support you, that's here to support you. We're grief coaches, but first, we're just people, right?
mm-hmm,
Without the label, we're just people who have suffered a great loss. And so we're all in common with that. We all have that in common, and we're all just trying to have a healthy life after the loss.
mm-hmm.
And so we thank you again for
Yeah.
sharing this with us and staying tuned. We would love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
And remember, don't forget to find your lighthouse.
It'll help you find your way out of the darkness.
Until next time, friends.
All right. Take care.